if I told you right now I'm in a country where the price of petrol or gas is cheaper than the price of water, and the capital city is full of marvelous architecture like this mosque right here behind me, and the citizens of this nation are actually some of the wealthiest in the whole world. And if I told you that this nation follows a very strict version of Islamic Sharia law, where every business or establishment is required to have its name written in Arabic on the signboard, and that this place is ruled by a Sultan who has billions of dollars, who's one of the world's richest people, has a grand palace with over 1,700 rooms, and has the world's largest private car collection with over 7,000 luxury and private cars. Now, if you hear all of this and think that I'm in a rich country in the Middle East, you would be very wrong. I'm actually 8,000 kilometers away from the Middle East in Southeast Asia, in this country called Brunei that no one ever talks about. Now, I've spent more than a year of my life going through every surrounding country in Southeast Asia, and in that time I have not just never been to Brunei, I've never even met someone in Southeast Asia that has also been here. In this video I'm going to explore the mosques, the markets, the floating villages of Brunei, and try to understand if this place is actually that different from its neighbors and what being here is actually like. And you can decide for yourself if this is worth including in your trip to Southeast Asia. Let's do this. It's 4 p.m. and I just landed in Brunei. But the interesting part of the story started like 10-12 hours ago, so let me rewind a little bit. It's 7:20 a.m. I see the sun rising up in the distance in front of me here in Kuala Lumpur Airport, and it looks really peaceful, but it has been anything but peaceful for the last 1 hour. I came here on a flight overnight where I slept like maybe 1 hour, so I was pretty exhausted, and I thought I had like 2 hours to chill here before catching my flight to Brunei. So I was just sitting down at a McDonald's enjoying like an iced latte, and I thought I was right next to the gate, and then I realized I had to go through like security and stuff and run to a gate, and by the time I got there I was like 5 minutes too late and the gate had closed. So now I had to figure out what to do next because I thought my luggage was on there, so I was like panicking and running all the way to the other side of the airport. Okay, I am sweating like a pig because I just ran to my boarding gate and the gates were closed. So I'm trying to figure out where my luggage went because I missed my flight to Brunei. I'm going to some transfer desk right now. And then I got there to the transfer desk, and this helpful lady at AirAsia told me that I basically had to book a new flight. So I did that, I booked my flight, but as I was about to check in, then I realized my check-in process wouldn't work, and I can't check in online because it won't register my visa, which is like a weird sticker visa. I talked to the transfer desk again, and they're like, no, you can just check in without the visa. They helped me figure it out. So now I have to just chill for the next 6 hours, hopefully not miss the connecting flight again, get to Brunei, where I won't get my luggage for another day. I just have to go there and report to the lost and found or something. That sounded interesting, and they'll bring it on the next flight, which is tomorrow. Now I'm just gonna chill, reflect on life, and try to be better on being at my gate at the right time. Ran into some fans here at the airport. Okay, you see those seats behind me? I kind of spent the night here 2 years ago when I was flying to Banda Aceh, and I slept on these chairs. They remind me of something special because the last time I talked to my mom before she passed away, we were talking about this and we're laughing a lot about this. Every time I see these chairs, it's like the third time or second time seeing this since that day. It just brings back some sweet memories. This time I actually made it here. So after all of that, I basically got on the right plane, and this time I was so tired at this point. I literally sat on my seat, and with it all the way upright, I fell asleep before the plane even took off, and I woke up after it landed with my food that I had ordered for the flight like next to me. Well, so far it looks like a really nice airport. There's something interesting about the signs here, which I'll talk more about later in the video. That was like one of the friendliest airport staff I've seen in my life. So I was coming in, going through immigration, and the people were so friendly. Apparently I didn't have like this document or receipt that I was supposed to have, but he was so chill. And then I was filming in there where I was not supposed to for a second. The security guy who told me was also so nice about it. And then I had to go sit in like lost and found, and over there they were also just so friendly, helping me figure out how to get my bag back. Now I'm gonna get a SIM card and call them so they have my number so I can get my bag back, I guess. One interesting thing is this airport is basically completely empty. There's like no line for anything. As a matter of fact, only 600,000 tourists come per year to the country of Brunei, and out of that, most of them is not by air. Most of them is by like land or by sea, so maybe they're not even tourists, they're just people coming over from Malaysia. Compare that number to the surrounding countries of Indonesia and Thailand, where like more than 10 million tourists come each year to these nations. I posted on my Facebook page that I needed some help with something because I was missing the flight and trying to figure some stuff out. And there's like 4 people, Bangladeshis, waiting for me over here at the airport. It's pretty funny to meet and greet me, I guess. I got a SIM card and it looks like there's like a manual way to top it up, which I have to do right now. Because I'm scratching off this number here. Okay, just used an ATM and got 200 Bruneian dollars out. And this currency looks super interesting. This airport is so nice. So I was really late getting the SIM card and stuff. My hotel staff, the car actually left with some other guests. So I'm just gonna go with these Bangladeshi viewers that came to greet me at the airport because their car is right here. So this is like an overcast day here, not sunny. And it actually feels really nice. Usually when I show up in the tropics, like wearing jeans, I get destroyed by the heat. Thankfully it's not happening. This is our ride to go to the hotel.
Actually, it's a driving seat.
Oh, sorry. I was getting in the driving seat. So I'm here with Ashraf Bhai. He watches my videos. He was nice enough to like give me a ride. How I should just wait for a phone call?
Yeah.
Okay.
Aisha will call you.
Okay, Aisha will call me tomorrow. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Okay, that was me trying to figure out what to do with my luggage. So now that we're in Brunei, let's try to geographically kind of understand where we are. Brunei is basically like a country on the South China Sea that is surrounded in all sides by Malaysia. It's split up into 2 non-contiguous parts, and the larger part has 90% of the population. The total population of Brunei is actually 460,000 people, which is very small for Asia. So half the population of this country actually live right here, the capital city of Bandar Seri Begawan. Now for a small country, it does have a lot of geographical contrasts. It has a lot of coastal plains. Most of the country is covered by thick tropical rainforest, and the highest peak actually goes up to I think more than 1,800 meters. But it does have tropical climate with year-round high temperatures and high humidity. People are predominantly Malay here, although there's significant minorities of Chinese and other ethnic groups. The official language of Brunei is Brunei Malay, which is basically a dialect of Malay, although English is widely spoken as a second language as well. We seem to be in a bit of a traffic jam. Seems like a lot of the streets in the center of the city are blocked because it was the Sultan's birthday 2 days ago, so there were a lot of festivities. First impressions of the city, it looks really modern, and there are a lot of Brunei flags over here, which are all yellow and black and red, and actually like a really pretty color. Okay, this is my nice little comfortable looking room that is costing me like $70 a night. This is the only nice hotel that I found really close to the attractions, and I want to be close to places so I can walk there fast, which is going to be very important because I'm running so late on this video. And even the hotel staff here are like the friendliest people ever. Okay, we're going down the streets of the capital, and it's like eerie. The streets are so nice, so well paved, but it's completely empty. There's like almost no people, no cars, definitely no sidewalks. It seems like cars are the only way to get around. Okay, so it was actually too dark to film anything for today, so I just went out to this market and got like a shitty tripod and a shitty gorilla pod or whatever this is I'm holding for tomorrow, because my luggage doesn't get here till tomorrow evening at the earliest, and I really need something to film it. I can't waste another day. Okay, I put more money on my phone so I can actually call my airport person. I had to put in like 10 more Bruneian dollars for that. This country is not super cheap. And I got a SIM card and I paid like 10 Brunei dollars for a SIM card that didn't have any balance for making a call. So now I had to pay 10 more Bruneian dollars to like actually be able to make a call. All right, it's 8:30 and apparently all the food places, the local ones, close early during the day here. So we're going to this one that's like kind of like a bit of local food. This water spilled on my head. But it's also owned by Chinese owners, so it stays open later than the other ones. This restaurant has an interesting system where I have to write down the names of the places or the things I'm about to order. Fried rice, barbecue chicken. So it's different from any barbecue I've eaten before. It's interesting. There's some eggs in there too. Not bad. It's 7 a.m. and I just woke up after sleeping for like, I don't know, 9 hours because I was so tired, and I'm about to go out again today wearing the same clothes I was wearing all day yesterday. Hopefully my clothes will actually get here today. We're finally out in Brunei during daylight, and let's do a quick recap of the history of this place. So the area that was Brunei was of interest to different people trading around the area for thousands and thousands of years. And there's something called the Brunei Empire that peaked during around the 15th to 16th century. And back in the days, it controlled much of Borneo and parts of what is the Philippines today. So then the area of Southeast Asia became of interest to the different European colonial powers like the Portuguese, the Spanish, the Dutch, and the British. And during these colonial times, a lot of what used to be Brunei was lost to these powers. So in 1842, the Sultanate of Brunei actually gave up the surrounding area of Sarawak to James Brooke and installed him as one of the white Rajas of the region, which is a very interesting period of history by itself. So in 1988, Brunei actually became a British protectorate, which is different from a colony because the Brits did not oversee a lot of the internal affairs, but they controlled a lot of the external affairs and the foreign affairs of Brunei. And then finally in 1984, this became a fully independent country from the UK, accepted worldwide as an independent country. But something else also happened about the history of this country that changed it more than anything and affects it more than anything to this day. For that, I'm gonna go a little bit that way to show you something. There seems to be a bit of a traffic jam here, apparently because the schools were open, so there's already some traffic at 7:20 a.m. There's so many cars here. So all the streets here basically say Jalan, which means street in Indonesian, Malaysian, and obviously Brunei Malay. I spent maybe 4 or 5 months total in Indonesia and Malaysia. You can talk to people using the same greetings that you use everywhere in Indonesia, like terima kasih, sama-sama. Just the basics are almost the same, if not very similar. I'm in front of a gas station here, and the price of petrol or gas is crazy. It's 0.53 Bruneian dollars for a liter of petrol, which is crazy. I've never seen anything like that. More interesting is how much water costs here, so let me go and show you that now. How much is it? Are you from Brunei?
No, Philippines.
Philippines? We're in Philippines. I spent 3 months in the Philippines. Salamat po. So I just went and got the cheapest bottle of water, which is 80 cents for 1.5 liters. So the price of water here ranges from this to much higher, 3 times more than that. And all of this is more expensive than the price of petrol per liter. I referred to this earlier, but probably the most important thing in the history of this country is the discovery of oil off the shores of Brunei, which happened in 1929. And ever since then, oil basically became the basis of this country's development. Now what's interesting is that it was a little busy during rush hour for school this morning, but now it's completely empty again. I'm in the middle of the city center of the capital of this country, and there's barely any cars on the road. What's crazy about Brunei to me is that they literally have a museum in the center of town that is dedicated to the history of oil and gas in Brunei. Like I said, Brunei has lots of natural resources right off its coast. Oil and natural gas production actually accounts for 90% of the GDP. They make so much money from oil and gas that they have a debt to GDP ratio of around 2%, which is the lowest in the whole world. And it's made the whole country wealthy. Now, let me show you what all this money from oil and gas can actually buy. So a 5-minute walk away from the museum where we're just at is this big mosque called the Omar Ali Saifuddien Mosque, which is actually named after the father of the current Sultan, the previous Sultan of Brunei. It was built in 1958, and even back then it cost $5 million. Right now it would cost way more than that. And the top of this mosque, there's a dome that is actually made from actual gold. And this mosque is right at the heart of the city center and sort of dominates the famous skyline of the city. Now I'm gonna go try to see if we can get a better look at this mosque or even go inside it. I am wearing long pants because my shorts are still in my backpack that hasn't arrived, so maybe I can get it. I've seen a lot of really nice mosques in Southeast Asia or Asia. This has to be one of the nicest ones I've seen yet. Obviously, not everyone here knows how to read instructions. Fortunately, it looks like we've come during the visiting hours. Two things, this is such a beautiful mosque. Architecture inside is so beautiful. And this is also the first ever mosque where I saw an escalator inside the mosque. It should be pretty obvious by now that this is one of the richest countries in the world in terms of GDP per capita at least. It's ranked 8th in the world, ahead of the US and right behind Switzerland. All the people also get free healthcare. and they get free education all the way up to university level, which is crazy. Most countries on earth, people do not get benefits like that. The literacy rate in this country is also one of the highest in the world at like 99.7%. So there's no income tax in this place, which the people love, and there's no sales or VAT charged or any sale as well, because honestly the government has so much money from oil, they don't need any tax money. What's also interesting is that there are more cars than people in this country, which is why the streets seem so empty and you don't see anything except for cars. It's not really meant for walking. It's fourth in the world in terms of cars per capita, and the only other countries that are ahead of Brunei are microstates that basically have no people in them at all. What's also interesting about this country is that 31% of the country's population is actually employed by the country's government. Now let's talk about the government, because that's where this gets really interesting. So only one family has ruled this country for the last 6 centuries. And this is one of the last absolute monarchies left on this planet. A system of government where the ruler or the Sultan or the king controls absolutely everything about the country. So the name of the Sultan of this country is Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah, and he's the longest reigning monarch on the planet now that Queen Elizabeth is dead. So he's been in power since 1967. That's like 58 years, almost 60 years he's been running this country basically. The Sultan of Brunei's personal wealth is estimated to be around $50 billion, which is not that surprising when you know about everything that he owns. Istana Nurul Iman is the world's largest functioning residential palace. It is over 200,000 square meters. It contains over 1,700 rooms, like I mentioned earlier, has over 250 bathrooms, has a banqueting hall that can seat 5,000 guests, and an air-conditioned stable that can fit up to 200 polo ponies. The Sultan owns, like I mentioned, one of the largest car collections in the world, with over 7,000 rare Ferraris, Bentleys, and customs Rolls Royces. The Sultan's family is also known for having some of the most lavish weddings in the whole world. So every time someone gets married, it makes all kinds of headlines. And there are also quite the crazy stories regarding his brother, who was the former finance minister of the country, regarding massive misuse of funds and living a lifestyle with quite a few sexual scandals. But you can read more into it in your own time. What's also interesting is that the Sultan once hired Michael Jackson basically to come to Brunei to perform a show for his birthday. Brunei actually has not one but 2 national mosques. This is the Jame Asar Hassan al-Bolkiah Mosque, located 3.5 kilometers away from the other mosque. This one is named after the current Sultan, Hassan al-Bolkiah, and this is actually bigger, and it was built more recently. It was built in 1988 for a whopping $350 million. Okay, so this mosque is black on the outside and looks very different on the inside. This looks like the staircase of a palace, not of any other mosque that I've ever been to. They have these cool magenta robes that I'm guessing everyone that comes in not wearing the right outfit that's not probably covered has to wear to get in. This is the main hall. It's open to visitors now, but it shuts down in like 20 minutes for visitors when it's actually prayer time in here. And this looks incredible. The best part about this right now is that it's AC, because it's really hot outside. I think it's like 30 plus degrees already. It's like not even 10 a.m. Now is probably a good time to talk about the role of Islam in the country of Brunei. Brunei's national ideology actually combines Malay culture, Islamic law, with an absolute monarchy. Islam is the state religion of Brunei, and absolute Sharia law was imposed in this country in 2014. Every establishment, every business, every shop, every hotel is required legally to have their name written in Arabic on a signboard, even though very few people actually speak Arabic in this country. I saw McDonald's yesterday, I saw Jollibee, all these other international chains have their names written on Arabic on them. So on Friday there's like a special prayer called the Jumar Namaz. That's when all businesses are required to be closed for 2 hours during those prayers. The country of Brunei also has a Ministry of Religious Affairs that is involved in administering daily life as well. So Brunei is the only country in Southeast Asia to implement Sharia law nationwide, including very strict punishments for things like homosexuality, even though things like that aren't always necessarily enforced. It's interesting to know that Sharia law only applies to Bruneian Muslims in this country. So one of the more interesting laws that this country has passed under Sharia law is a complete ban on drinking and smoking. Now there's a lot of countries where you can't drink. I don't think I've ever been to a country where there's like not a single person that can legally smoke in the whole country. What is very interesting though is that just because there's a ban, it doesn't mean that the people don't smoke or drink at all. There's like this settlement on the border of Malaysia that has like bars and everything, where people often just go across the border, which is like an hour drive from here, and then they party at these like settlement with like bars and everything. I saw like travel YouTuber Drew Binsky go do that. Unfortunately, I only have a single entry visa for Brunei, so I can't go out, see that, and come back in again. So I'm gonna not be able to show you guys what that is like. Now, we've talked a lot about how the government works, how the laws are supposed to work, but for the rest of the video, I'm actually gonna explore the streets of Brunei, go to where the local people are, where they eat, and try to show you what life is really like in Brunei. I had to make a quick stop at the airport to make sure my luggage is actually gonna get there on time. Oh yeah, this man here saved me because he knows the system doesn't always work like it's supposed to. I thought I filled out all the paperwork yesterday, but apparently I did not. Apparently I had to come here and fill out some more paperwork, otherwise I would have been screwed. It's 12:30 and it's a bit too bright to film outside. So now I'm gonna go to this place that's known for having local breakfast, but we are going there at 12:31. 6 hours after I woke up, I haven't had anything, so I could use a meal. We're at this restaurant called Jingchu. Let's see how it is. Kuning cucur cheese and roti kacang kahwin. And do you have coffee? Hot Nescafe. Okay, now I'm gonna try this food. This thing is called kuning cucur cheese. So obviously they literally have a thing of cheese here, and this is some kind of like bread, and the other one is called roti kacang kahwin, which is definitely some roti bread. And oh man, it's like oozing with some like eggy stuff in there, and there's like butter in there too. And with that we have Nescafe as well, which is usually how you find coffee in most places in Asia. Okay, let's try this one. It's like literally dripping. This is just seafood. This is so sweet. I was expecting something savory, you know, with eggs. This is really sweet. Almost tastes like there's some jam or stuff in it. But there are eggs, which is nice. Time to try the other item. Oh, nasi goreng. Friendly people with me were helping me out. Got some nasi goreng and nasi goreng chicken. Classic Indonesian food. Now time to try the other thing, which I hope is going to be less sweet, but let's see. I like this. I would strongly recommend kuning cucur cheese. And this too, if you want sweet stuff to eat. Coffee was much needed today. And man, this really looks and feels like a very local place here. How much is the total bill? Terima kasih. Thank you. All of that we just had, which is like nasi goreng, like rice with chicken and stuff for 2 people. I basically had 2 different breakfast items and a coffee and Coca-Cola for all of us. All of that was 18 Brunei dollars, which is like 14 US dollars. That's less than $5 per person for like brunch, which is pretty cheap, I'd say. So I'm back in the airport again to hopefully pick up my luggage. And outside, this man from Brunei was with his wife, and he recognized me. He's like, Nadir, I watched your videos on YouTube, and like took a photo with me. I had no idea people from Brunei, in Brunei, watched my videos, so that was really cool. And I didn't even notice it yesterday, but there's like a really nice mosque literally attached to the airport. There's something really interesting that I just noticed, is that the Sultan's image is on every Brunei dollar bill, like the 5, 10, the 1. And even on the coins, you can see his image and his name. It took a minute, but my bag finally made it. Continuing our tour of local places, we're now gonna go to a place that I'm super excited to see. How are you, brother? This is really wobbly. It's gonna cost us $1 to go to the other side. Terima kasih. We've arrived at Kampong Ayer. The name literally translates to floating village, and this is the world's largest floating village, where more than 10,000 people live, and people have been living for the last 700 years. Basically wooden houses on stilts on the main river of Bandar Seri Begawan. Okay, there are like these planks to walk on, which don't feel that stable, and honestly, like there's no railing or like rail guards. You gotta look where you're stepping. What the hell? Someone's literally got like pet swans or pet geese here. So I guess these are like nice little alleys inside the place. It's like really cool graffiti here as well. Every house here is on stilts, and it's all connected by these narrow bridges that are also on stilts. So this is basically a functioning village. There's hospitals, schools, restaurants, everything floating on here. And you get from one place to the other either by boat or by these bridges, I guess. It's often called Venice of the Southeast by some people because it's like Venice, but even in Venice, it's basically islands and houses are built on it. This is like literally everything is on the water. So just as I was talking about this, a boat just showed up with some kid coming back from school and dropped him off like right on the doorstep of what seems to be his home. While you're walking around here, you have to be careful. I was kind of focusing on filming something and almost fell. There's like massive gaps in some of these planks. And it's big enough for someone skinny to like fall through if you're not paying attention. It looks like it's closed right now, but there's an ice cream shop right behind me selling different flavors for 30 cents or like 20 cents American. And right in front of me is a bridge that I definitely wouldn't cross. Some of these bridges I would never cross. Hello, kitty. Okay, it was really funny. I saw this really cute cat just like chilling on one of these bridges, and then the owner came running out. I was like, ah, and like picked it up, and he was like, wow, 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 and then just took it home. Man, this place is so huge. It's mostly like these wooden planks, but sometimes there's like these concrete bridges, basically. I had no idea it was this big before I actually like, you know, came here. Okay, there's a boat coming from underneath us. I almost fell because one of these wooden planks just like popped up into the air like Tom and Jerry as I took a step on it. So maybe this is my sign to turn around and go back to the ground. What's really interesting here is that some of these houses are literally like shacks made out of tin. So I'm guessing not everyone is rich in this country, even though the average is pretty high. As the sun's going down in the distance and these boats are going past me, this is actually like a pretty scenic view. Is it the safest walk? No. But is it pretty to look at? Yes. What's really interesting for me is the level of plumbing that you see behind these walkways. From what I heard, whenever people, you know, pee or poop, it just goes from the toilet straight into the river. But I guess clean water has to get to their homes in some way. Hello, kitty. Meow, meow. And as I'm walking past, these boats are looking at me as if like trying to figure out if I need a ride. I guess in other countries in Asia, you have like tuk-tuks and stuff like that, asking if you need a ride. In Brunei, you have water taxi. Now let's go back to the mainland. So we figured out we could actually get a tour for $20. So I'm gonna go do that and try to see the Royal Palace. So cool. We went from being in the floating village to literally in the middle of the jungle with no civilization. And I'm sure there's like wild animals that I can already hear because it's getting close to night here. Just turned the engine off and it literally sounds like the jungle over here. This is so cool. I wasn't really expecting to do that when I went out to the floating village. Thank you. That was really, really cool. I've finally been able to change my clothes and wear clothes more appropriate for the tropics. For the final stop for today, we're about to explore this really lively night market that should have a lot of good food that I'm very excited to try out. So Ashraf Bhai is joining us, the man who helped me get my luggage back. Funny, if you drive around Brunei, it looks nothing like the rest of Southeast Asia. It looks like you're driving across some highways in the US. But when you come here, this properly looks like a Southeast Asian market. You can see satays being grilled everywhere. People are like eating cheap food, or cheap for this country at least. I see a lot of fish. Everyone's wearing hijabs, the locals are out. This is really, really cool. Hi, how are you? The food here smells so good. I'm not sure like what to eat and what not to eat, but I'm hungry, so maybe I'll look around a bit and see. From fruits like mangoes and watermelons to fruit juices to items like Japanese food I've never seen before. They're literally selling everything you can eat here, and I'm really struggling to decide what I'm gonna eat. Chicken? Ayam?
Ayam.
Yes, 2 ayam. It's pretty hot here, like, you know, standing next to this can't be easy work all day. Because it's hot outside, it's even hotter inside here.
$6.
6. Just one. 2 watermelon juice, please. Terima kasih.
6 is sausage.
Okay, perfect.
And also 2 stick fries.
Okay, thank you.
It's like a Japanese thing.
Okay, terima
Wait,
kasih.
What is your channel, by the way?
Getting new followers here.
Nadir on the go.
Yes.
Alright,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, time to start the feast. I am excited. Sausage. I took too much food. I realized I'm gonna struggle to eat this. Well, there's some bones in it, which I don't like, so I'm not gonna finish it. Now for the takiyoki, the some with sausages that I want to try. It's like a Japanese food. Yeah, I think this is like the sausage one. They had like another one with crab sticks and all kinds of other seafood, which I don't eat. And they put it in the same box, and it's really hard to tell which one's what. So hopefully I pick the right one. All right, here it goes. This is weird. It's like this strange like flavoring of vegetables. I don't know what this is, but it definitely tastes like there's some veggies in it. It's pretty good actually. Okay, this is not probably an acquired taste. I think I ate from the wrong side. And I ate the fish ones at first, like the crab stick ones, and then I got to the sausage ones, and that's why it tasted so much better at the end. Okay, now we're gonna try this pickled radish, which had a Indonesian name or say Malaysian name. And this I've never tried actually, so I'm excited. I see some like bits of peppers in it, so it's supposed to be spicy too. I have no idea what to expect. Let's try it. This is interesting. It's got like a strong tang to it. Okay, this is hard to eat with a toothpick. Okay, it's definitely spicy. I'm trying to feel the spice. It's definitely not like a filling item, but it's like pretty nice. Okay, now time to try the watermelon juice. Okay, this is really nice. It's not too sweet, not too artificial. This is so nice and refreshing on a hot day. And almost all of these items, except for I think the sausage was like $1. The 8-piece thing was like $3. All right, I finished the delicious juice. I could not eat this more because it's a bit spicy, but it's also just hard to eat. I ate my sausage and the chicken thing was a little bony, so I didn't do that. Now I'm gonna wash my hands and try to get some dessert.
$1, 4 pieces.
Okay, okay. Then 8 pieces.
So
Then
$2.
Terima kasih.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's try this. It's basically just juice thing inside it, and when you take a bite, it like breaks apart and it comes out, which is nice because except for the juice, it's a bit drier than I expected the texture. But the juice makes it like a perfect combo. Is there like coconuts?
Yes, this one, coconut.
Oh, so it's coconuts and rice and what else?
Palm sugar. It's like
Palm sugar. This is coconuts with palm sugar inside. That's why it tastes so much like coconuts. I am pretty full, and I think I am done for the day. It's 10:40 a.m. and I decided since I'm so close to the ocean or so close to the South China Sea, might as well come and check it out. Basically came here, which is like maybe like a 20+ minute drive from the capital city, to check out this beach that's accessible to the public and see the South China Sea. And on the way here, I was trying to see this hotel called the Empire Brunei. And then I realized that you can't really go in there too much unless you have private access, contrary to what I thought. This hotel there has like a very interesting story. It was initially like, you know, a private investment of someone in the royal family. Went through all kinds of mismanagement and became like a government investment or something of that sort. And it cost more than $1 billion to build, which just sounds crazy to me, you know. Having grown up in a place with a democracy, even though my country has had a lot of issues with corruption and whatnot, I've always grown up with the idea that, you know, everyone is born equal. You know, some people might have more money than others, but everyone is equal in terms of how the law should be applied. And that is not the case here, because it's a monarchy. How you're affected by the law, I guess, depends on where you're born. And it just blows my mind to think that you can spend $1 billion on a hotel, like a 6-star luxury hotel in a country that barely anyone's visiting. And then there's Kampong Ayer, the village where I went to yesterday, where there are people that are living in like houses with tin walls and stuff. That part doesn't make sense to me. Now obviously the average citizen is doing fairly well compared to most countries. And from what it sounds like, citizens that I've talked to are happy about it. So if what they have right now is what the people of Brunei want, who am I to say otherwise? It is very interesting to, you know, see this from an outsider's perspective. Okay, so I'm back in Bandar Seri Begawan, right by the river with Kampong Ayer on the other side. And I just want to finish the video off here because I gotta head out to the airport in a couple of hours. And I want to address the question that I said I would answer at the start of the video. If Brunei is worth visiting during your trip to Southeast Asia, or just if Brunei is worth visiting at all. And this is my opinion on it. If you're expecting beaches with mountains around it like you see in El Nido in the Philippines or like Railay Beach in Thailand, Brunei doesn't have that, so this is probably not the place for you. Although there seem to be some beaches. There is some really cool stuff you can see. So I spent all my time in the capital city, so I didn't really get to like go out and explore the nature. But I saw this other YouTube video by this guy named Jordan who came in like explored the surroundings as well. So you can actually go out to the jungle and see some wildlife, see some like crazy monkeys and stuff. There's actually a sign saying beware of monkeys in my hotel room, so you can go do that. You can also go like scuba diving in shipwrecks, which is what that guy did. And that looked really cool, but that's not something I had time to do. Everything I found online, you needed like at least a group of people to do it. And I'm here by myself, so I wasn't able to do that, but that looked really cool. So if you do want to experience like a more unique experience in Southeast Asia, and you're okay paying a bit extra for it. Like the food and the stuff is not that expensive, like the market I showed you yesterday, but you know, hotels aren't that cheap. Getting around is not just expensive, it can cost quite a bit to get a taxi around town. It's also inconvenient. The one app that works is not that good, honestly, the Dart. It might take you a while to get from one place to the other. All of that being said, I really had a really good time while I was here. The people I've met here are some of the friendliest people I've met in my life. So there's like, you know, Filipinos I say are the friendliest, or some of the friendliest. Indonesians I also find are some of the friendliest. And this country is basically on an island that it shares with Indonesia and it's right next to the Philippines. So it makes sense that people are so friendly. I wish I can come back again at some point and actually explore the nature more. That being said, something I have to keep in mind is that it's often ranked by like, you know, reporters as one of those places with almost zero press freedom. Freedom of speech is limited because it is a monarchy. Obviously I'm a travel vlogger, not a journalist, but I'm aware that something that I might say from my experience here might not be popular with someone with power, and that might get me in trouble, you know? So that would be the only thing that would stop me from coming back here, honestly. But except for that, I really had a good time here. I like the food, I like the people. The city is interesting by itself. That place was really interesting, Kampong Ayer. So I think Brunei has gotten like a lot of bad opinions on social media. I've been to a lot of places and this has definitely been a more fun experience than I've had in several other countries that I can think of off the top of my head right now. I've had a really good time here. The people are so friendly, man. If you like this video, don't forget to like it. If you want to watch more videos like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And if you want real-time travel updates, feel free to follow me on Instagram at Nadir on the go. I'll catch you guys on the next video from I'm not sure where exactly.